What is up, y'all? Coog Recruits back in the house. It's been a minute. I missed y'all. Hope you guys missed me. I went on a brief break. Just kind of got busy with work and life and family stuff. So I just decided to just have the podcast go on a bit of a hiatus. My Instagram page has still been active. My X account has been pretty active. But yeah, I just decided to take a break from interviewing guys. A lot of guys have been covering the season already, like Parker Ainsworth and Ryan Monso with Locked on Cougs and GoCougs.com, respectively. And I just decided it would be better for me to just kind of take a break, um, focus on my real life responsibilities and things like that. Because I really follow recruiting, and a lot of the guys I wanted to interview, they're getting towards the end of their high school season of football, the senior season. So were in the playoffs or trying to finish the season. Or we got a lot of guys that actually enrolled early during the bowl. So I think we had 13 guys that decided to get to campus early. So it was a big season of transition for those guys. And I decided it's probably best that I wait until after the transfer portal's closed before I start trying to interview people. And also, I just want to post some more content about my thoughts about the roster, about recruiting. As you can see by the thumbnail, today's going to be about the guys who've gotten into the portal on offense. I'm just going to kind of give my thoughts about each player that we've taken, about where I see them lining up, how I see them contributing, and any gaps or holes I still see on the roster on offense. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of an update in case you're wondering why I haven't posted in a while. I plan on continuing to post, especially during the off season, because there's not a lot of football content during the off season. There's a ton of basketball content. There's going to be a ton of basketball content up until April, May, but it's kind of dead as far as football content goes. So I work a normal 9 to 5, so I can't do this full time. It would be great if I could, but to the best of my ability, I want to give you guys some kind of content that we can kind of enjoy together as fans. Because let's be real, there's not a lot of guys that cover Houston, considering we're a Power 4 program in the state of Texas, which is a football crazy state. So that was kind of like, if not me, then who? And yeah, I think now is really my time to shine. I'm going to try and interview the rest of the guys who are in the class of 2026 before guys from 27 start committing. Of course, not everybody wants to be interviewed, so I won't be able to interview everybody. But to the best of my ability, I'm going to try and get some guys locked in, because we don't have a channel that does that. You kind of get to know guys on the field, but you don't really get to know a lot of the players off the field, because there's not a lot of content where you might get an interview like after practice, but you don't really get to hear people talk to them about who they are off the field. Maybe some of the higher rated guys like Keyshawn and Paris and John Hebert, or Abear. I'm sorry, not Hebert, Abear. When you read it, it sounds like Opie Hebert, but I believe it's pronounced Abear. So John Abear. Sounds like it's French. Maybe it's like a Louisiana, Cajun origin or something like that. But whole last name is pronounced Abear. But yeah, I just want to continue to interview guys. And I've never interviewed anybody from the transfer portal, so I want to do that too. Because we didn't get as many guys in the portal this year as we did last year, but it's still nice to kind of put a name with a face. Get to know these guys off the field, their hobbies, their personalities, their likes, dislikes, what made them want to become Cougars in the first place. Because, man, we cooked in the portal this time. We cooked, man. Like a lot of these guys could have gone to any school that wanted to, and we got them to go to Houston. So, yeah, I want to interview guys who were either seniors, class of 2026 guys, or guys who are technically freshmen because they enrolled early, but really they should be high school seniors. They just enrolled early. But yeah, I want to give you guys a lot more content. Right now, I'm shooting for every other week, but I might be able to do weekly. It's just difficult to record and edit because I do have a full-time job. This is just a hobby of mine. So I don't make any money on this. I just do this for the love of the game, for passion. I saw a void, and I said I might as well fill the void. I'm a yapper. I like to talk, and I like to talk about Cougar football, so I might as well do it in front of the camera and see what everybody else has to say. All right, so enough of that. Let's get to what you came for. You know how like in YouTube it has that part where you can kind of jump ahead to the part where people actually start watching the video. I feel like this is like the 5 minute mark. You can just jump ahead. Let's get to the actual portal view. So yeah, I'm gonna do offense. I might do special teams at the end. I know special teams is usually grouped in with defense, but for me, I'd rather do it with offense if we have enough time. If I yap too much, I might just leave it for later. But right now, I wanna see if I can do it with offense. Just so in my mind, special teams is like offense. They're scoring. They're not trying to stop people from scoring. I don't know. Maybe somebody with a better coaching background can break that down for me. But yeah, I'd like to do that. All right. So I'm gonna do this in order of when they committed. Um, yeah. So whoever commits first, that's what I'm gonna go over first. Offense. So the first guy we're gonna go over is Drew Terrell. He's an offensive tackle from the University of Miami, Ohio. So no, he did not play in the national championship game. He was at the University of Miami, Ohio. He's 6'6", and he's about 300 pounds right now. 247 has him at 289, but that's I believe that's wrong. I think he's closer to 295, 300 right now. But he's a tackle. He started at right tackle, and he's one of like the highest graded right tackles. Period. Not just in the MAC, but period, in like the country. And yeah, I think he's gonna start at right tackle from day one. Unfortunately, we haven't had enough time to really develop guys at O line that Coach Fritz has recruited. Um, so we've kind of had to get guys in the portal. But I think this is like the best tackle. We think carefully before I say this, but yeah, I think this is like the best, highest graded tackle that we've gotten in the portal um, since Coach Fritz has been here, and I think he has really impressive tape. His arm length is a little suspect. So I know some people are saying he might be a guard, but I don't think that's going to be a problem at our level in the Big 12. I think he'll be fine at right tackle. He's like a big mean guy, good pass blocker, good run blocker. Um, yeah, and you can just kind of pencil him in to start. Good size, and yeah, I'm really happy with this. In the past we've been able to sign tackles in the portal. It's not like we haven't been able to get anybody, but it's either guys who are playing power forward football at one point and got benched, or it's average like group of six guys that we're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall, hoping one of these guys could either develop to be better or would rise to the challenge. I think guys like Dalton Merriman from last season. I think he's one of the guys. I think he did better than he did at his previous school than he did at Tech, I believe, and yeah, so I think sometimes it does work out, but it's nice to have a guy who is one of the best players in his conference at our lower level as a tackle who can transition and be an elite guy here, kind of like the Indiana method where you get guys who can play and then pay them to play at our level instead of taking chances on guys who are at Power 4 schools but either had a subpar tape or they just didn't play. I'd rather take the Signetti approach, the Indiana approach, and get guys who they can play ball. Maybe they don't have tape against Power 4 competition, but shoot, like I'll take the known over the unknown, right? Because if you go back to Daniel Holgerson, we got a lot of guys who are 4 stars, sometimes even 5 stars out of high school, and they would come to Houston, even back when we were in the American, and they just weren't able to step up. They were able to see very quickly, like, oh, okay, there's a reason that this guy wasn't playing. He wasn't just a diamond in the rough. He was just wasn't good. Um, and there's a guy who was like a 2 star out of high school who was here last season, just playing over him. So yeah, I definitely prefer this approach where we get guys who we know can play. I think Drew Terrell is one of them. Moving right along, this is actually out of order, but I'm going off of 247's commitment list. I don't think Mackay Hughes for the next guy to commit, but let's do Mackie Hughes. Yeah, man, I don't feel like there's a lot that I have to stay here, man. He's one of the best running backs in the American for 2 seasons in a row. Starting off as a think he was a redshirt freshman. I don't think he was a true freshman, but still, depending on the numbers he put as a redshirt freshman, insane, man. I think last year we had Gene Connors kind of developed up into to being the bell cow running back. After the guy we thought was going to be our starter got injured, and I think he was going to be that guy for us. He's just shifty, man. He's just very shifty. He's able to just kind of find a hole and just burst through it. He has great balance. He's good ball protection. And he's familiar with our offensive system because he played with ROC, whose name's escaping me right now. Slade Nagel, that's right, Slade Nagel. So I know part of the reason he transferred, he was one of the highest rated running back transfers in the portal, and he committed to Oregon initially. And one of the reasons he didn't think it was a good fit was because he didn't really, the playbook was just different from what he was used to. And we know that's not going to be a problem here. So he's essentially running the same playbook that he ran at Tulane. So I think this is a home run hit at running back. I expect him to put up great numbers and potentially be an NFL guy. I really do think if he has a good season here, I do believe he's going to get drafted. Again, I'm not a scout. I'm just a dude talking in front of a camera. But I think he just has that kind of potential. He's a real home run hitter. Like if he gets a hole, especially with the guys we brought in on the O line, you can just burst through it and pick up first downs. So yeah, I'm really excited to get him. At first, when Cam Cook came for a visit, Cam Cook's now committed to West Virginia. I thought, oh man, this is amazing. But I'm honestly more excited to get Hughes than I was to get Cook. I think Hughes can just take off. I don't think the Big 12 defenses are going to be able to stop him. Even guys, like Tech, who pay for the best defensive lineman that money can buy, including one of our former D linemen, A.J. Holmes. But hey, I'm not trying to be bitter, but I'm just excited, man. Yeah, we just have a really good returning running back room. I'm going to pull up the roster real quick because whenever I get in front of the camera, I always forget names for some reason. Like guys who I look at their stats after every game, and then once I turn the camera on and press record, I can't remember anybody's freaking name. So I'm just going to pull that up real quick. Okay. Anyways, there we go. Okay, so we had Rashawn Stanford, DJ Butler, and now we have John Abeer. I want to say Hebrew, it's so bad. John Abeer. I think that's just a really good running back room. Of course, we all expected Rashawn Stanford to be the running back one this past season before, unfortunately, he got injured again, which is horrible. But I believe him, Butler, and Abeer is a great group. Unfortunately, we lost Jamarian Burnett to the transfer portal. I'm not sure where he landed, but I think those four, we should have a really good team. I think in another world, another life, I think Rashawn Stanford could be a running back one. So if he can get a lot of snaps, you can kind of do the two-back thing, kind of like what Ohio State did a couple seasons ago with Travion Henderson. And, he plays for the Browns right now. His name was escaping me, but they had two high-quality running backs. I'm not saying we're going to be Ohio State or anything, but it'll be nice to have a good group of guys. So that way we're not just running back into the ground, just grind. We have a good stable of guys. A few backs that can get carries. They can rest one guy, put another guy in, and everybody's happy. Yeah. So let me not talk too much about Hughes and move on to our next dude, who I'm also very excited about, Shadre Hurst, who's one of the best run blockers in all of college football, and now he's the Cougar. So yeah, he was a guard at Tulane. I expect him to take the other guard spot aside to the other side of Agnello. And he is just a baller, man. He is a baller. He's originally from Georgia and played for Tulane. I think he's been a starter for 2 seasons. This is his last year of eligibility, but he's just a baller, man. I know the guard isn't like the big sexy position that everybody wants to talk about, but I think between him and Hurst, I think I'm sorry, him and Boswell. I haven't talked about Boswell yet, but Hurst and Boswell together, I think they can just really revolutionize our run game. Those guys are very good run blockers. Talk about Boswell later, but again, somebody who's played in the best G6 conference has shown that he can play. Is now ready to move up a level. I know we had to pry him away from Florida because John Summerall, he's now the head coach of Florida. He was his coach at Tulane, and I know they wanted him bad. So shout out to whoever matched their offer, did whatever they had to do to get him on campus because again, I think that our run blocking wasn't always great last season, and I think like as good as oh man, our running back guy from Rice, Dean Connors was last season. I think he could have been even better if he just had better, if he had better holes, better openings. Sometimes he was just able to make something out of nothing, but man, yeah, Hurst is a baller. He's a great pass protector. He's a great run blocker. He actually started a game at tackle one time, but he's 6'2", 293, a bit undersized, but I think he's just so freaking strong, it doesn't really matter. Like, I could see him getting up to 300, 305, 310, but honestly, if he didn't, I think he could still be a perfectly good guard in the Big 12. I'm not concerned about that in the slightest. I think him being lighter actually gives him an advantage. And you could say the same thing about Drew Terrell, but I think he's just like a stout. He's kind of like a fire hydrant. He's one of those guys where he's like, you look at him and you just like, he's 293. Like, you're sure you're not like 270 or 260? He carries his weight so well, just because he's muscular, man. He's just yoked. Yeah, and he's used to playing with Hughes because they played together at Tulane, so they already have that connection. So I think we're just going to have a great run game, and he's also a good pass blocker too. Because Connor Wegman last season, he didn't have a lot of time in the pocket always. I think that's why he had to run so much. He's had injury issues in the past, so letting him pass more, I think that'll do wonders for us. Because I believe he got injured during the Tech games. This is me speculating, and he's playing hurt the rest of the season. I don't think that's officially been confirmed, but I would like to keep him upright as much as possible, and I think Hurst will do a lot for that. I think he's going to start immediately. I think he's getting my positions mixed up. I think he's a right guard, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, let me pull up our depth chart real quick. That he really is just somebody where he's just a dude. Some people, some players, you kind of see, okay, they're good for their level. They're good for like the level that they're playing at. But he is just somebody who is just elite. I think that if he did end up going to Florida and he's playing in the SEC, I think he has just as much potential there as he has here. And I think that's one of our biggest recruiting wins, is being able to get him to sign with Houston, especially considering that it was his current coach that went to freaking Florida, man. I know Florida isn't the Florida that it was 15, 20 years ago with Tim Tebow in them. But still, that's like a blue blood school. They have multiple championships. And he's still he's a right guard. Okay. No, I'm sorry. He is a left guard. Okay. But yeah, it's just somebody who was just willing to believe in the vision that Coach Fritz is selling and buy in. And yeah, I have high hopes for him. Next guy is Hayden Wright. And Hayden Wright is a tackle from Northwestern. I believe he went to one of the Kingwood high schools. Let me double check. Went to Kingwood High School. So he's a 6'5" tackle from Northwestern. He didn't play at all this past season. I'm not sure if he redshirted it or not, but hopefully he did, so he can pursue some eligibility. I just kind of see him as a makeup. Maybe one of those guys that we should have landed last season because he was a senior in 2025, so like a makeup for a tackle we didn't land, a depth piece, somebody that we can develop. And I do believe in Coach Fritz's ability to um, develop O-line, and we got Coach Nagavi, who was with Coach Fritz at Tulane actually. I think we can develop him into a starting tackle eventually. I'm just kind of, and mentally, since he didn't really play at Northwestern, I'm just imagining in my brain that he was here last year and he redshirted. Obviously, that's not true. Yeah, he's a depth guy. I don't really expect him to play. He's kind of light right now. I think he's like 280, 290. So I expect him to just kind of develop, put on some weight, put on some muscle, and maybe he can get a chance in 2027. Uh, I feel like in one of those other tackle spots. But hey, like we need depth and we need young guys that can be developed. So uh, I believe he's a redshirt freshman, so he should have 4 years to play. Who knows? Maybe he'll start 2027, 2028. But still a good get. A hometown kid who went to Northwestern, had his fun there, and it's like, I think I want to come back home. I think I want to be a Cougar, and I love that. I call those guys boomerang transfers. Guys who started off in Houston, went to high school in Houston, went somewhere else, like a boomerang, coming right back home. So yeah, he had a good high school tape. Um, so yeah, that's all really I have to say about him. Still, you can't overlook those guys just because they didn't get a lot of playing time at their old school. He was a true freshman. Most true freshmen do not get playing time, especially at linemen. Skill positions, sure. You can have like a wide receiver or running back who's a true freshman get a lot of snaps, but that's very rare for a freshman O lineman. Next, we have the guy who I might be the most excited about on the O line, and that's Anthony Boswell. He's a center from Toledo, so another MAC guy. And I'm telling you, man, we got two MAC guys this year. The MAC guy that we got last year, and Koziel, or I think it's pronounced Kozel. I'm bad at last names. I've been hearing him say Kozel a lot, Tanner Kozel. But it's one of the best players on our team. He might be the only one of our players that gets drafted. Hopefully, some of these guys like Dean Connors, Lachelle McCutcheon, um, pass rusher from FIU, whose name is escaping me right now. Eddie Walls. There we go. Hopefully, those guys can kind of play themselves up in the Senior Bowls and make an NFL roster or play their ways into the draft. I think those guys are very talented. I think those guys are Sunday players. But Kozel is like Kozel is like a guarantee to get drafted, and he was in the MAC a season ago. So and Anthony Boswell also in the MAC played in Toledo, and Toledo have actually had they had a couple guys go to the league and get the Eagles starting cornerback. His name is escaping me right now. I know he went to Toledo. He's one of the best corners in the NFC. Yeah, I'm telling you, whenever I turn the camera on, names escape me. Like if I was having a normal football conversation with my boys, I'd know his name immediately. Quinyon Mitchell. There we go, Quinyon Mitchell. So, don't sleep on the MAC competition. And I believe that he's an immediate upgrade at center. I was a fan of Demetrius Hunter. I'm our last center. He's unfortunately decided to go in the portal. He's at Colorado right now, signed with Colorado, or Big 12 rival Colorado, who we did beat last season. I'm just saying. That was a great game, by the way. Great atmosphere. Um, yeah, that's probably like the second best atmosphere out of the games we had this past season. I think Tech was a great atmosphere. You're not going to beat that. But I'd say number two is the Colorado game for sure. Great game. But yeah, he's no longer in the program. I think I think he has the potential to be the best center in the Big 12, man. I believe he has 3 more years to play, which is crazy. So it takes him some time to adjust to the Big 12. Hey, no worries, man. You can take your lumps this season, and we got you for 2 more years if you want. Of course, maybe he just plays out of his mind and gets drafted, but he just is amazing, man. Great run blocker, great pass blocker. He was the number 10 center in the country that was in all conferences, all FBS schools. He was the number 10 center according to PFF. And I think he's just going to be able to contribute immediately. I believe he's going to be able to clear up lanes for our running backs and just protect Connor Wegman and just keep his jersey clean. Just looking at his tape, he's just like a mean blocker. Just gets dudes out the way. It's like move. And Boswell, he started young too. I believe he started off at Purdue as a freshman, but he was a walk-on, and he just wanted to play, and he bet on himself. transferred to Toledo, and is very young. He's a redshirt freshman or redshirt. No, he's a redshirt freshman. Yeah. So this is his first season as a starter. This is his second year at high school, and he's just balling out. That's something else I look at at the portal is guys who have a lot of protection at a young age. So somebody's only like a redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore, and they're just having a great season. I think that says a lot because that means they still have room for growth. They haven't hit their ceiling yet, and a lot of guys they continue to progress on the Power 4 level. So yeah, I'm really happy that we got him. Again, I expect him to start. That's our starter at center. Depth of the O-line, I'm not really sure about because most of the guys that we have really haven't played a lot. But as far as our starting lineup goes, I'm very satisfied. I am a little concerned about depth because I'm thinking if you have like one bad O lineman, that kind of ruins the whole O line. It's very hard to hide guys in that position. So I'm kind of worried. So all it takes is one guy, tearing something or breaking something in training camp, and you just have a massive hole. And there isn't a spring portal this year. I'm sure guys will find workarounds. Maybe they'll like Check Red Slap did last season when he transferred from BYU to Tulane. But still, officially the spring portal doesn't exist this season. So if your roster gets depleted during spring camp, you're just kind of in a tough situation. If somebody gets a season-ending injury, breaks something, tears something, it's kind of an awkward situation. But as far as my starting lineup on paper, which I believe is Aboselli, let me pull this up real quick because Alvin Aboselli is returning. He was our starting left tackle. Like I said, left guard would be Hurst. Center would be Boswell. Right guard would be Agnello. And right tackle would be Drew Terrell. That starting five, that O-line, I think that's one of the better O-lines in the Big 12. And I think that allow Wegman to improve and get better because he has more time to think, more time to process, more time to throw. The run game is more of a threat, so the defense has to be honest. And I'm just really satisfied with the guys we picked up, including Boswell, Terrell, and Hurst. All right. Moving on to our next guy, we got Patrick Overmeyer. He's a tight end from UTSA, and he had about 400 yards. Only started 8 games, and during those 8 games, he put up some really good stats. Because, they played a lot of tight ends at UTSA, 2 tight ends actually. It was Houston Thomas and Patrick Overmeyer. So he was also sharing snaps for a lot of the season. So I think he really hasn't. They didn't do the good job of showcasing him. So I'm not saying he's going to be like as good as Kojal because that's just unfair to compare a guy to him. He's one of the best tight ends in the country. But I think he'll have a very good season here. I think he's a great fit for our offense. And Slade Nagel, he was a tight ends coach at LSU. So he loves tight ends. He's always going to incorporate tight ends into the offense. And I expect Overmeyer to put up good numbers, man. And kind of be like a safety blanket for Wegman. And also, speaking of our OCs, Nagel, he likes him to do a 12 personnel, where that's where you have 2 tight ends. So I think Overmeyer and the guy we got in the portal last year, Luke McGarry, I think having them on the field at the same time would be elite. McGarry is more of like the traditional inline, like blocking tight end, and have Overmeyer in the slot. I think that's a deadly combination. And we did get a really good wide receiver in the portal, and Trent Walker. But I say last year, effectively, Kojal was our wide receiver too. It was Mari Thomas and Kojal. We typically in UH history, we've had some decent tight ends in the past. We haven't had a guy who was just the second leading receiver. I think Kojal led the team in receptions too, which is crazy considering Amari Thomas nearly had 1,000 yards. But I think Overmeyer won't have the same pressure that Kojal did. So hopefully Walker, Thomas, and Overmeyer and Kobe Young will make a leap too. I'm very high on Kobe Young. I think he got a lot of PIs and bad calls against him. I think Kobe Young is going to explode next season. I've always been high. I have met the young man a couple times. He's a great kid, has a great family, great personality. I really think Kobe Young's going to have a breakout season. But I think Overmeyer is just a really good fit for our offense. And I think, we always want to utilize the tight ends more. I think he's going to be showcased in Houston in a way that he wasn't showcased at UTSA. I think we're going to target him a lot. Ideally, he'll be Wegman's kind of safety blanket. So if our O-line has a bad play, he's getting a lot of pressure. He just has somebody he knows will be open, he can throw it to. Hopefully, he can be like one of those guys where he's just an automatic first down. Actually, Amari Thomas was that guy this past season. There were so many times where I'm thinking, oh man, we're not going to score on this drive, are we? And Wegman just airs the ball out here. There's like a short pass, and Amari Thomas either makes a crazy acrobatic one-handed catch, or he catches it and jukes a few guys, and gets a first down. So traditionally, I think that should be the tight end, just in my mindset. I think Overmeyer can be that guy. Of course, if Amari Thomas is open, please, by all means, throw to him. let him make those plays. But yeah, I'm really high on Overmeyer, and I really think that he'll be even better in our offense than he was at UTSA. It's kind of what I'm saying about younger guys, right? Sometimes it's just they need a chance to showcase their talents, and they haven't reached their ceiling yet. So somebody might have had worse stats, worse PFF grade at a lower level, but because they're growing and maturing, they can actually be better at a higher level because of their development. I think Overmeyer can be one of those guys. Next up, we have our wide receiver 2 in Trent Walker. I'm sure most Coug fans are familiar with Trent Walker's game because he absolutely torched us at Oregon State when we played them this past season. Man, Cardiac Cougs, that game had me on the edge of my bed. I was saying things I shouldn't be saying. That was a stressful game. That was a stressful game, especially when it's a school that's technically Group of 6 school. I know they were in the Pac-12 2 years ago, but still, talent-wise, with how many players he lost in the portal and the level they're recruiting at now, it's a G6 school. They're losing to them on the road, and Trent Walker's is having crazy catches and first downs. I'm like, man, this guy is legit. This guy is the truth. I know he's going to get a bag in the portal. That's what I was thinking at the time watching it. Little did I know, the guy that was cooking us would eventually be on our team. Yeah, but we were lucky to get out of that game with a win, and he's one of the major reasons why. He's just a great safety blanket guy. Honestly, not as much so only in third downs, but he kind of reminds me of Kogel in the way he's able to just be in the middle of the field and just be open. A lot of the times when their quarterback was running out of time, running out of space, he was kind of panicking a little bit. He was just there. He has great yak ability, yards after catch. He's really good at getting extra yards after the catch. Based off the film I saw, I'm really excited to get him. You can pencil him in as the wide receiver too. From day one, I expect it to be Amari Thomas, Trent Walker, Kobe Young, and Patrick Overmeyer. And of course, Mekhi Hughes as our starting weapons. But yeah, man, he's just a great player to get, and he has production. He's had over 1,600 yards the past 2 seasons. So again, proven production. He's not younger, but I just think that this is his last season of eligibility. So I think this is his 5th year out of high school. That you just know what he can do, and he has some great games against Power 4 competition. Because some guys, they're really good wide receivers, but as soon as at their level, whenever they play a big name school like Ohio State, Alabama, or whatever, a lot of those guys schedule a G6 or FCS schools. Their stats kind of go out the window, and that's kind of a red flag. Sometimes it's just because the quarterback's getting pressured so much and it's impossible for them to get the ball. But other times it's just because they just can't play at that level. They're really good at their level, but they can't rise up. I saw that in Amari Thomas. He had some of his best games he had when he was at UAB before he came to Houston was against higher level schools. He had a really, really good game against Arkansas. And when we got him in the portal, I'm like, okay, that's a green flag because if he was able to ball out in an American Conference offense against an SEC school, imagine what he can do here. And he had better stats in Houston than he did at UAB. And I'm not sure that's going to be exactly the case for Trent Walker, but I think he'll have a very good season, especially because he'll have a lot of time to get a connection with Connor Wegman and just throw the ball with him, catch the ball, and just hopefully they can develop a good chemistry. And Kobe Young and Amari Thomas already have that chemistry, and you can just put him in. I just think he has a lot of weapons. He's able to get separation. He has good hands. Doesn't drop a lot of passes. And yeah, I'm excited to get him. All right. Moving up, we have Luke Carney. So Luke Carney, he's a quarterback from Syracuse. He's a true sophomore. I think he's from the Dallas area. Let me double check. I know his school he went to has Dallas in the name. Let's see, he went to Dallas Christian School. He's from Mesquite, Texas, which I guess is in the greater Dallas area. I'm not as familiar with Dallas high school football. I just know the schools that are always, you know, competing for championships. It seems to be that there's always a Dallas school and a Houston school competing for a state championship. 6A, 5A, whatever. But yeah, I guess that he's just betting on himself. Because, we have two five-star quarterbacks, which is crazy to say out loud, considering where we were just 3 years ago. But yeah, we got Wegman and Keyshawn Henderson, two five-star quarterbacks, and he decided to join the quarterback room. So I guess he just played 4 games this past season, so he does have some experience. But I guess he's just kind of our backup. Keyshawn is going to be a true freshman. He is a 5-star, but it may take him some time to adjust to being, playing against grown men. There's some guys who are 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th year seniors coming after him, so it may take him some time to adjust. And it's just nice to have a backup guy. Maybe, depending on how spring camp goes, maybe he will be the official backup, and they'll have Keyshawn redshirt. I do think Keyshawn is just too athletic and talented to redshirt. I'd rather just use him, maybe have him be a wildcat quarterback sometimes, or just, I don't know, find some way to utilize his athleticism, his speed, even if he's not ready to be a starting quarterback or a backup quarterback. And I'm sure he wants to go to the NFL in year 3, just knowing how confident that kid is. So, yeah, I'm not saying we should definitely redshirt Keyshawn if he isn't ready to be the backup quarterback. But I do think that it's just nice to have somebody with a little bit of veteran experience who could potentially step in and be that guy. He didn't have a lot of stats, but he just, knowing that he played at Syracuse, so he played Power 4 football. And I'm sure he has some kind of agreement with the coaching staff where he knows, you're not starting over Wegman. I mean, we have too much invested in Wegman for you to be starting over him. But if he gets hurt, Wegman has had injury problems in the past. You might be the next guy up, so be ready to know the playbook and look alive, But, if Keyshawn just has a really good spring, it looks like the second coming. And he just looks heads and shoulders above all the other freshmen. Hey, man, Luke Carney might end up being the third string, and maybe he'll hit the portal again in 2027. But I still think that it's good that we got a guy with some experience because, the other quarterbacks in our room are walk-ons or preferred walk-ons, and Jake Salk and Indiana Wijay. So it's just, I think it's a good pickup. And some people were kind of hating on it on the message boards. I'm like, why is he coming here? Well, he's not even going to get to play. But you don't know that. A lot of it depends on Wegman's health and availability, and Keyshawn's readiness to play. He's a 5-star talent. He's the number 1 quarterback in the country. But even 5 stars sometimes need time to adjust. So yeah, it's all in all. I say it's a good pickup. Okay, so the next guy I'm going to go over is Tyson Turner. Again, I think he's going to be a true junior. He might be a redshirt sophomore. I'm not sure if he's redshirt or not. He's a 6'2", 215-pound wide receiver from Texas Tech. He was a high 3-star coming out of high school. Not quite a 4-star. Plays in Bryan. He has a good size. Some places have him listed as 6'3", but I do believe he's actually 6'2". In high school, he was a multi-sport athlete, so he was I think he made the finals in the high jump. I'm reading his stats right now. So yeah, he did the high jump. So he did the did the 110-meter hurdles. He qualified for regionals. So yeah, he had a good track career. I think that's a green flag and a prospect because I think that's too many players that just only play one sport. I think that actually hurts them. I think playing different sports helps you train muscles you wouldn't have had otherwise, and helps you develop into being a better all-around athlete. I think too many football players specialize in like middle school, like 6th grade or 7th grade. I'm only going to play football. I'm not going to play basketball, soccer, do track, or anything else. So I think it's cool that he has a track background, track and field background. He didn't really have a lot of stats to Tech, so again, I see him as a developmental guy. Maybe he breaks out, but again, he was highly rated out of high school. He has the pedigree, and excuse me, I think he has potential to get some snaps. I know Coach Fitz said during an interview that he doesn't think we have enough size, and we didn't have any receivers taller than like 6'2" or 6'3" other than Harvey Broussard last year. So it was nice to get him. Trent Walker, Luis Tonkara, they're all like 6'2" or taller. So I think that's definitely a priority. We have 3 guys that can potentially be our X receiver. Depending on how he develops, maybe he'll get a lot of snaps this season. So yeah. Second guy we got is Moiz Tonkara. Again, he's 6'3", 208 pounds. He's another boomerang prospect, a guy from the greater Houston area. He went to Clear Springs High School, committed to Florida at a high school this past season. So last past season would have been his true freshman season. So he'll be I'm not sure, again, if he redshirted, he'll be a redshirt freshman. If he didn't, he'll be a true sophomore. But I don't think he redshirted. But he was in a borderline 4-star coming out of high school, so he was almost a 4-star, but not quite. But he has elite size, again, 6'3". He actually got snaps at Florida. We didn't play a whole lot. I think he had 2 catches for like 30 yards or something like that. But yeah, he had good tape out of high school. He's just a big, hyper athletic guy. He also played some on defense when he was in high school. So I'm sure he's going to play offense here. But if you ever want to switch sides, having a 6'3" guy playing like strong safety or corner, that ain't bad. I'm not going to complain about that. But he also was a track guy. So he did the relays as a sophomore. I'm not sure. I can't see it on 247 if he still did track as an upperclassman. But he still a multi-sport athlete. Good sign. Good size. Honestly, judging by the fact that he got snaps, he was good enough to play on offense as a true freshman at Florida. I think that's a good sign. I'm not saying he's going to start or anything. He might. A lot of the stuff depends on how spring camp goes, but I'm high on him as a prospect. Again, if you committed to us last season, let me check. So he was an 89 out of high school, which again is a borderline 4-star. So I'm pulling up our 2025 guys from last season. So yeah, if he came last year, he would have been tied as our 3rd highest rated recruit. So he'd be tied with Kenzie West, who was a great corner, and Zaylen Cormier is a wide receiver who are 89s. So he would have been tied with them for our 3rd highest rated recruit, which would have been elite. So again, that's how I kind of see the portal. It's a lot of blue chip guys who are highly rated guys who go in the portal. 247 kind of tanks their grade or on 3, and but I'm seeing him as the potential he had out of high school, and I think he can contribute. I really think he can maybe be our wide receiver one day if enough to development. But of course, that's the future. Again, this is only his 2nd year out of high school coming up. Let's see. How long have I been yapping for? 43 minutes. Holy moly. Okay. Okay. I guess I'll do special teams with defense. I'll just finish the video here. I did not realize it's been this long. So yeah, I guess the overview. I think we're much improved on offense. I think our offense was good last year, but I think we didn't hit our full ceiling because a lot of guys didn't have a lot of time to gel with one another. They weren't. We had like 4 guys, everybody except Demetrius Hunter as a transfer, I believe, who started. So we had 4 guys learning how to play with one another. I don't think they really started to hit their stride until towards the end of the season. And one of the best games they had as an offensive line was against LSU at the Texas Bowl. So I think having 2 guys return to start does help. And ideally it would have been 3 guys, but Hunter's in the portal. But I do think that let's see if Boswell will be a little bit better at center. Seems to have better pass blocking, run blocking grades. And Hunter, unfortunately, did get beat for a few snaps where, guys would just kind of bull rush him or just go right past him. He has a good place to some good snaps too. He's still going to be a Coog for life. But all in all, I'm very impressed with who we got on the offensive side of the ball. Expect Blackman to have more time to throw, more time to process. I think our receivers will have an easier time getting separation. And Kobe Young, he didn't really get a lot of playing time until towards the middle of the season. So I think that He'll get more time to play during spring, and I think he'll step up. And between him, Overmeyer, Hughes in the backfield, I think it's just going to be a lot of receiving threats. And the dudes we got in the portal, and Jude guy from Tech and Florida. Let me make sure. Let me use their actual names. Turner and Tongara. If either of those guys pan out and develop, that's a good fourth, fifth option. Harvey Brassard's coming back. He was a good first down guy. Hopefully, he can continue to develop. So yeah, I think our receiving room got better. Of course, losing Kojal is going to hurt. But I think what's really important is that not only that we get guys that could help make us better, but we were able to retain the guys that balled out for us last year. Because, we've been hurt by the portal a few times. Matthew Golden, that still hurts me, man. That still hurts me. I remember how happy I was when we got like a blue chip guy, beat Texas, beat TCU for a guy out of high school, and then seeing go to our rival school, Texas, in the portal. That hurt. That hurt my feelings. So I was kind of wounded from that. I was thinking, oh man, like we're probably gonna lose Amari Thomas and maybe like Will James, some of those guys to the portal, and I know they were being tampered with, but I guess we got an influx of NIL, and they're here to stay, so that's great. So being able to retain our guys, being able to retain Agnello was big too. I think he got better as the season went on. Expect him to improve a lot next season. I guess there is one wrinkle in this. According to a poster on the message board, I know Dalton Merriman is the UH is trying to see if they can get him another year of eligibility. He was our starting right tackle last season. So if he does return, I guess that gives us some kind of depth. Maybe we'll have Terrell move into guard. Maybe we'll see if he can play left tackle, compete with Agnello, compete with Eboselli. But that's a possibility. Who knows if it gets approved or not? But he did play at a junior college, and there's currently a lawsuit about whether that counts towards eligibility or not. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. So we could potentially have another guy with starting experience returning. But yeah, so stay tuned. Who knows? I'm not an insider, so I don't know how that's going, or even if he does get approved. If he wants to come back, maybe he's tired of being in college, wants to go pro. But that could also really help us if we were able to get him back. So yeah, I think we improved. We got a running back, wide receiver, definitely improved on the line, improved the tight end, and we are already kind of set at quarterback. And it's my breakdown for the offensive line. If you made it to the end of the video, if you watched the entire video, this whole nearly 15-minute video of me just yapping, comment who is your favorite player that we got on offense in the portal. Just out of the guys I spoke about, who is your favorite guy that we picked up in the portal and why? Just leave that in the comment section, so that can be your little badge of honor that you made it to the end of the video. And that's it, man. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow me at Coog Recruits on Instagram and X. We also have a Facebook page, so follow the Facebook page. So you can subscribe on YouTube, man. Thanks for making it to the end of the video, and go Cougs.